Hey guys, Henry here, and today we're going to be talking about Jumanji: The Next Level and whether I think it's worth a watch. So Jumanji: The Next Level is the sequel to the Jumanji reboot and is directed and co-written by Jake Kasdan. The sequel brings back Dwayne Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, and Karen Gillan as the characters/avatars of the Jumanji world, and also introduces us to a new avatar played by Awkwafina. So the film picks up with Spencer, Martha, Fridge, and Bethany, the kids of the previous film, all having moved on from high school and moved on to the next stage of their life. We see that Spencer's moved to New York, he's going to university there, he's working a pretty shitty job, he looks pretty sad, he's missing his friends, he's broken up with Bethany, and he overall just seems pretty depressed. So, pretty logically, he yearns to feel that power and the strength of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the Jumanji game. He fixes the broken console, and he gets sucked back in. Later, the rest of the group go looking for him, they can't find him, and they find the half-fixed game, and they realize that he must have gone back in, and they realize what they must do. They have to go in the game and help Spencer finish the game so that they can all get out together. However, this time when they get sucked into the game, it's different. They didn't get to pick their avatars, so they end up in random bodies. And on top of that, Spencer's grandpa called Eddie, played by Danny DeVito, and his ex-restaurant business partner, Miles, played by Danny Glover, also get sucked into the game just because they're in the house at the same time the game was booted up. This leads to the core strength of these two new Jumanji films: body swaps. People are in brand new bodies, and the actors are given a new challenge to act as another actor acting as a character in the real world of Jumanji. I'm not quite sure how they do it. Do they get Danny DeVito to deliver the lines as Spencer's grandpa, and they record that and play that back and they try to imitate it? They get Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to try to imitate Danny DeVito being Eddie, or does he just improvise it based on the lines that Eddie has? I don't know how they do it, but whatever they're doing, it seems to work because it does translate really well, and you can distinctly tell who each of the avatars are meant to be. I must say the film did a pretty good job of quickly setting up Milo and Eddie's backstory and their characters and their traits in the opening scenes of the film, so that when they are actually in the game and they're being played by Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, we can distinctly tell who they are. The key to all this is that the actors were really believable playing those characters. And the movie completely relies on this. Without this, we would be taken out of the movie completely. If they can't sell to the audience that they are who they say they are, then we will be taken out of the movie. If we have to double check or guess or scratch our head like, who are they trying to be, then we're taken out of the movie again. Everything really hinges on the actor's performance in this case, and the body swaps. They all did a really great job, specifically Kevin Hart and Jack Black. The plot and the action scenes, however, are definitely not a strong point of this film. It hits many of the same beats of the previous film. You got a bad guy, he's got a thing, you gotta get the thing from the bad guy, and then you gotta, say Jumanji and get out, and you only have 3 lives. So they really did just follow the same beats. The action scenes were extremely CGI heavy, a lot of CGI animals, but this movie seems pretty aware of that, and it doesn't seem to care. It knows that its strength lies in its actors and the body swap gag, and it just goes back to this over and over and over. Something that bothered me a little bit was the fact that the game was broken and it was in the middle of being repaired, yet this didn't really have any consequence for anything other than mixing up the bodies and not being able to choose your avatar. There were no glitches, there were nothing. It wasn't even addressed afterwards. I really did enjoy, though, the dynamic between the avatars playing Eddie and Milo. The two grumpy old men, the bickering with each other, was an extremely funny gimmick, while also borderline annoying. It produced many, many laughs, and even had some emotional and touching moments. But you know when you get sort of triggered when you're trying to explain something to someone, and they're like nodding their head, and then they just don't understand what you're trying to say? Yeah, I feel like I got as frustrated as the characters were trying to explain the game to the old guys in this movie. Where the performances do lack a little bit is in the real life characters, the kids basically. We don't really have much of an insight into who they are, what they like, what they do, their relationships with each other. It all seems extremely superficial and surface level. We get a tiny bit of an insight into Spencer's life, but other than that, it's not much. They feel really flat and two-dimensional, and if they were more layered and more interesting, I can only imagine the hijinks that Jack Black, Kevin Hart, and Awkwafina could have together. Having those interconnected relationships with, sort of in-jokes and stuff like that. They just didn't really have that. I just didn't even believe that they were friends when they were in the real world. To be honest, I felt like Danny DeVito's character was probably the most well-defined character out of all of them. And he was just introduced in like the first 10 minutes of the film. Jumanji, The Next Level, isn't getting the rave reviews that the previous film got. And I suspect that's just because it's just following the same blueprint of the previous film, and it's not really trying anything new or doing anything original. And it's not taking any risks. But why would you? It worked so well in the first film, why reinvent the wheel? They were able to produce something of similar quality with a slight spin on it to make it a bit more interesting, to make it more of a sequel. It's clear that this Jumanji series knows what it is and knows what it wants to be. It wants to be fun and family friendly. And it did that. It definitely achieved what it set out to do. This film was funny, it was entertaining, and it's fairly well written, putting the actors into difficult positions and scenarios, which, because they thrived, allowed the movie to thrive. So, is Jumanji The Next Level worth a watch? If you really enjoyed the previous Jumanji film, I think this movie is definitely worth a watch. But if you were sort of so-so on the previous one, I'd say it's a pretty safe pass. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content from me, please be sure to click that subscribe button down below. If you've seen Jumanji The Next Level, let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. Thank you guys again, and I'll catch you guys next time.